Hey, what's going on, everybody? Justin here at Trumpful Reads, and in this video we're going to be doing one half of my February book haul because all the books that I got kind of separate nicely into two different sections, and in this one we're going to be going over all of the Warhammer books that I purchased in the month of February, and to be more specific, all of the Horus Heresy Warhammer books, if you guys know what that is. Essentially, there's kind of like Warhammer Fantasy, and then there's Warhammer 40k, and the Horus Heresy is almost like a giant prequel to Warhammer 40k. It takes place 10,000 years before the 40k universe lore stuff is going on. But when I found this book, Garrow, Weapon of Fate by James Swallow, at like a salvage store for $4, brand new, I was like, I'll just like take the chance and just try it out. I was just like, what the heck? And then I read it and I was like, this actually isn't half bad. Then I kind of went on YouTube and everything and just kind of went down this giant rabbit hole of like lore stuff and everything. I'm like, this sounds actually pretty cool. So I went on eBay and I just basically bought a lot of Horus Heresy books, like just a set of them. There's 10 books here, and I got a really good deal on them. They're not quite in order, like they're not just the first 10, but I think let's see, we're only missing, 3, 7, 8, and 9, so 1 through 14, but missing those ones. But yeah, I just want to go through them. Like I said, they're all obviously part of the same series, and I think this series, from what I can gather, is slated to be around like 60-ish books. I think they're like around 50, mid 50s or low 50s, something like that so far. So yeah, it's kind of a crazy gigantic series, especially considering this is kind of like a prequel to like Warhammer 40k universe stuff. So let's just get started. Right, the first one is Horus Rising: The Seeds of Heresy Are Sown by Dan Abnett, and I've actually already read this one. It's really good, not quite as good as Garrow. I gave Garrow 5 stars just because it was so, I think it was just because it was like so unique and cool, like new to me, I guess, if that makes sense. But this was definitely still at least a 4-star read. The second book is False Gods by Graham McNeil, and the subtitle's The Heresy Takes Root. And obviously a lot of the authors can kind of be similar. I mean, there's like dozens of authors that kind of like work on all the Warhammer stuff, but obviously, like in the Horus Heresy, there's going to be a lot of authors that kind of reappear throughout the books, obviously. Alright, so I'm missing Galaxy in Flames, which is book 3, but book 4 is The Flight of the Eisenstein, The Heresy Unfolds. Book 5 is Graham McNeil's Fulgrim, Visions of Treachery. And some of these ones are a little bit more beat up than others, but hey, I don't care. I got a really great deal. Like this one's definitely the worst. Let's see, what did I say? This one's what? Did I say 6? Yeah, I'm missing 7, 8, 9, so 6. Descent of Angels, and this one is Loyalty and Honor by Michael Scanlon. Mitchell. Complete fail on the author. Mitchell Scanlon. Alright, and then book 10 is a short story anthology collection, and it's Tales of Heresy. Next up is 11, Fallen Angels, Deceit and Betrayal. That one's by Mike Lee. Then we have number 12, Graham McNeil's 1,000 Suns, All is Dust. Then is 13's James Swallow's Nemesis, and the subtitle's War Within the Shadows. And then the last one, number 14, is The First Heretic, Fall to Chaos, and this one's by Aaron Dembski Bowden. So like I said, I just really enjoyed it. Oh, and just so you guys can see, this is number 42, Garrow, Weapon of Fate by James Swallow. Like I said, I just saw that one, read it, and I was like, this really isn't bad at all. Like, I thought it was just going to be... I went in with like a really stereotypical kind of biased position. Like, I was just like, it's $4, like, whatever. But it actually turned out to be really good. A lot of deep themes going on. Essentially, the Horus Heresy is there's the Imperium of Mankind, which has been spreading throughout the galaxy, things like that. And basically you have 20 legions of like these basically almost like superhuman type, like space marines basically. And each one is led by like an even more awesome superhuman known as a Primarch. But essentially, the Horus Heresy, which is kind of important to understand, I guess, the lore of the 40k universe and stuff, is one of the primarchs, Horus Lupercal, essentially starts a civil war by betraying the Emperor, stuff like that. And the Emperor is basically like kind of like an immortal human kind of thing going on. There's kind of like a hidden religion that worships him as a god, though he kind of specifically says, you know, I'm not a god, I'm just like way better than everything in the universe and all that stuff. But anyways, Horus Lupercal kind of starts a civil war against the Emperor and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of just like the one sentence of like the 60 book series. And each book kind of focuses on a couple different events, and you don't have to necessarily read them in order per se. Just from what I understand, reading the first three are like the most important, just understanding kind of the context of how it all starts. And then you can kind of just pick characters or factions or armies or characters that you really like, story arcs that you really like. Just kind of focus on just those stories if you'd want to. I'm probably going to try and set an ambitious goal of actually trying to like read through the series. I know I don't have the greatest track record with finishing series, but you know, I've got to have some kind of ambitious goals, I guess. So there you guys have it. Those were the Warhammer books that I picked up in the month of February. Tell me what you guys think about them, if you've ever read any of the Warhammer books, no matter which universe it's in. Because I think the Warhammer Fantasy stuff's not related to the 40k stuff, but I'm still like a complete scrub. I'm still like Warhammer. I've only been reading it for like, I've only read 2 books, and a couple like wikis and stuff, so still a complete scrub when it comes to Warhammer. But from what I understand, there's Warhammer Fantasy, and then there's kind of like Warhammer Chronicles, which is almost like the prequel to Warhammer Fantasy and the Mortal Realms or something. Then you have like Warhammer 40k, which is probably the most popular. Especially like the tabletop stuff, which I don't do or anything. So I know a lot of those players also read the books as well. And then you have the Horus Heresy, which is like a gigantic prequel to the 40k universe. So yeah, like I said, if you've read any Warhammer books at all, just tell me what you thought about them. Just leave some comments down below. Be glad to talk to you about them. Always remember, whatever you end up reading, read victoriously.